Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, it's time to get to a great book, Karen Travis's Sacrifice. Ta-da! That's awful, isn't it? Anyway, it's Karen Travis, so she's going to put Republic Commando storyline infused with this because, hey, remember my popular story, Republic Commando? Well, here they are, and mentions a few characters in it. In fact, Boba Fett comes across and meets an ARC trooper who has solved the aging problem of the DNA, the clone DNA genes. If you remember, this was an unfinished plot line from her series Imperial Commando, where they were trying to, these old ARC troopers were trying to, they knew there was a problem, they were going to die soon, and they had to find a way to stop their advanced aging and stabilize their DNA. Well, obviously, now that Fett's come across them, they have found the cure. We don't know what it is or how they did it, but we just know that they did find a cure. So now there's hope for Boba Fett. And of course, Karen Travis is going to put Boba Fett in her story because putting Boba Fett in her story makes her automatically cool. Anyway, meanwhile, Ben Skywalker is spying on Kal Almas, and he finds out and discovers and follows him to a secret meeting where Kal Almas is meeting with the Prime Minister of Corellia. It seems that Kal Almas knows that the military, this whole situation has been blown out of proportion. It's gotten way out of hand, and they have to do something. Jason and Admiral Nithal have really just screwed things up. They've gone a little bit more stronger than he thought they would, and he's not happy with the way things are turning out. The Prime Minister definitely doesn't like what's going on, and so they come to an agreement. Peace will happen, but he has to arrest Jason and Admiral Nithal for their war crimes, and Kal Almas agrees. Well, at this point, Ben can't believe what he's hearing. Here's, in his mind, Jason is doing everything he can to stop this whole fracturing of the Galactic Alliance, and Kal Almas, the head of the Galactic Alliance, is now concerting with the enemy and talking about turning on Jason and the Admiral, which are probably, in Ben's mind, heroes for the Galactic Alliance. So Ben decides to kill the evilest of evils in his mind, which is the Prime Minister of Corellia, which is what's going to happen. Now, that story is going to flourish into something else later on, but it's kind of just setting something up. Meanwhile, Mara Jade is hunting down Lumia. Now, Lumia is a great character for Mara Jade to hunt down because that's not only is it one of Luke's ex-flames, but she done did him wrong, and Mara's out to, bust her up a little bit. So of course she hunts her down, she tracks her down, they fight, but Lumia escapes. She's no match for Mara Jade, but she escapes. And that's when Mara Jade encounters and realizes that Jason is a Sith. He is a Sith Lord. At this time, he's taken the mantle of Darth Caedus at this point. And I believe the fan who won the name, who named it, and her vote won, she was named at the beginning of the book, like special thanks to so-and-so, the winner of the contest. Again, how awesome is it to throw a name out there that it gets voted on, one of the top 5 names? For me, that would have been awesome. And then after that, you actually won and you get mentioned as a thank you in the Ford. Man, that is awesome. Again, 2 thumbs up for Del Rey. Wonderful promotion. I don't think they ever did anything like that again, but of course you want to keep it special, so I understand that you wouldn't want to do that for every series, but that they did it here was really cool, and that they give that fan acknowledgement was really awesome too. So let me get back to where I was going with this. You didn't like me going off on that tangent, did you? You want me to get to it, right? Okay, well obviously this is not a big spoiler. I already said spoilers for the whole series, but here we go. Mara and Jason fight, and of course Jason's going to win, and he's going to kill Mara Jade. And when I never saw this coming, I don't think anyone did, and just like everyone else, when I read it, I was stunned. I was stunned. I can't believe that they killed off the most popular EU character of all time. To be honest, she is. We had a poll on the Expanded Universe a long time, I think 2 years ago, or no, it was a year ago or something, where she won the fan poll by far. She could beat anyone. Any character from the Old Republic she could easily beat. Any character you thought was popular, it was nothing compared to Mara Jade. The votes for Mara Jade were well above anyone else's votes. It wasn't even close. Any competition she went against wasn't even close. So that they killed her, you're going, what? What just happened? I mean, it was kind of nuts there. Now, the aftermath is it sends shockwaves through Luke, through Ben, who are just kind of shocked and they shudder. To me, it's not as impactful as when Anakin Solo died to Luke, and, Leia and Han, but it's still impactful to, Ben and Luke as they are shattered by this reality. They feel her cut off in the Force. They know she has died. Neither one of them suspect or know Jason is responsible because Lumia is going to claim that she killed Mara Jade, which makes sense because they both know that Mara was tracking down Lumia. So Lumia killed Mara Jade, and that's what she's taking claim to. Well, Luke is no nonsense at this point. He is ticked off. And it's very rare that we get an emotion out of Luke Skywalker. So he goes to battle Lumia. And we're thinking, oh, wow. She's got her laser whip ready. Because remember, Lumia uses a laser whip. I haven't really talked about that much, but I really like the laser whip idea. I really like something different than a lightsaber. And I like that, Luke has to use a Shoto blade, a short blade, to fight the whip, to safeguard from the whip. I really do like her laser whip. Anyway, you think, oh wow, the first battle was big, but this battle is going to be intense. No, it's no contest. We find out that Luke has been holding back on Lumia this whole time. He's been holding back because he's Luke. He wants to try to convince her to come back to the light. He always sees the good in everyone. He is the forever optimist in the entire series. In the universe, no one cares more about people than Luke. That's why in the new series, I don't even want to start with that. But this time, Luke is no nonsense. He goes up there, and if I recall, he basically grabs her in the Force, lifts her up, pushes her, I think, off a cliff, holds her there, holds out his lightsaber. Now, this is the battle. He just goes up to her, puts his hand out, she's captured, he lifts her up. I want to say it was over a cliff, but I can't remember. But I remember he holds her there, holds out his lightsaber, ignites it, and then brings her forward. And she can't move. And he just decapitates her right then and there. And then he walks away. I loved it. You thought there was going to be a big battle, and kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones pulls out his pistol and shoots that big guy. That's exactly what you had here. It's probably not a moment you should laugh at, but I was like, whoa! Because you're expecting this big battle, and what you get is the reality. Luke is the most powerful Jedi in the universe, perhaps ever, because Anakin fell from his destiny, right, by joining the dark side. So Luke Skywalker, no nonsense here, he could have taken Lumia out this entire time. He can take anyone out. He can do anything. We are reminded of that constantly throughout the series, but yet we sometimes forget how powerful he really is, and I love it when they show how super powerful he is. Is he an overpowered character? In a way, I guess you could say that, but at the same time, he does have an Achilles heel, which I'll talk about later. But in this point, Mara's dead. All he knows is, I'm going after you. Pick her up, hold her, she can't do anything, done, dead, he walks away. No emotion. You're like, oh yes, what a way to die. I absolutely love it, absolutely love it. Now, meanwhile, Jason is also getting very powerful. The dark side is endued him with a lot of power himself. He's being able to do incredible things as well that, Luke at the time we know can't do. But he's got not as much power probably as the Emperor, but he's getting pretty powerful at this point. So let's go ahead and go back to Mara's death and how the fans took it. Not well at all. The forums were lit up after this. Of course, if people weren't outraged enough over the deaths in New Jedi Order, this one in Legacy of the Force was probably the height of angry fans I have ever seen at any time. I remember being on the forums, and of course, I hate Karen Travis just as much as the next person, but that was the one day I got to enter in the forums, and everyone was agreeing with everything I said. I wonder if that was the turning point for when she lost a lot of fans. Now, it's not Karen Travis's fault. It just happened in that book that Mara was going to die. In fact, to this day, they will never admit whose idea it was to kill Mara Jade off. It happened when they were doing writing out the outline, and they said, well, how do we stop Luke? How do we take Luke out of this battle? Because obviously, Luke can shut down Jason whenever he wants. They even show that later on in the book, that as powerful as Jason thinks he is, he's not powerful compared to Luke. And that's obvious. We all knew that. So they're thinking, why would Luke continue to let this go on for so long when Jason goes over? At first he's just, trying to work things out, trying to see the good in Jason, but eventually he's going to have to put a stop to it. So how do we take Luke out from putting a stop to it? Because, on a story, in a story arc, it doesn't make sense. They won't say who, but then someone suggested, well, if we kill off Mara Jade, his wife, he won't go after Jason for fear of going into the dark side. And they said the room got quiet, and this is all Troy Denning would say. He said the room got quiet, and whoever suggested that, they went, yeah, that makes sense. But they made a pact after what had happened with Chewbacca. They were never going to reveal anyone's name, never going to say who suggested it, but someone did. Now, kind of bad form, but they didn't tell Timothy Zahn, and Troy Denning does admit this was a mistake. They didn't tell Timothy Zahn until like just a few months before its release, or maybe a few weeks. I think it was, if I'm correct, I think it was 2 weeks before it got released. Someone said, no, we need to call Tim and tell him what we did, because that was his character. That's his, lovely character. And of course, Timothy Zahn was pissed. He did not like that, because Timothy Zahn has always considered himself, I'm sorry for Timothy Zahn fans, but he has always considered himself better than every other author. That is the truth. I'm sorry. It's the truth there. I'm not, it's a little bit of hate, shade thrown on Timothy Zahn, but he's always considered himself the authoritative EU, because he sold the bestsellers, everyone loves him. He had the biggest fan club available, but he's always considered his world, his little sandbox, above everyone else's. That someone came in and literally took a dump in his sandbox, he was pissed, and I understand why. I get it. And really, that they didn't even tell him about it earlier, like just a few weeks before the release, and that's only because that Troy Denning said he knew it was wrong, and he does regret not telling Timothy Zahn earlier. Now, to be honest, there's nothing Timothy Zahn could have done to change the fate of Mara Jade, but sit and be pissed. And so because of that, fans joined him, and they were pissed online, and everyone was hating on Karen Travis. It was like Christmas for me, man. I was like, yeah, I've been telling you this whole time. No one's listening to me. They're just mad that Karen Travis killed Mara Jade. But she didn't take as much heat as the other ones did. They knew at this point it was a group decision, but at the same time, how dare Karen Travis agree to kill off Mara Jade? I was like, yeah, she's an awful person. Don't we all hate her? I was terrible back then in the forums, but I was loving it. I was loving the bonfire of roasting Karen Travis over this mistake, even though I knew it wasn't her. I knew it was a decision. I was waiting to see if they would name someone, and to this day, they never will. That will go, I guess, to the grave with them. And I really think we're mature enough to know now. So I wonder if I talk to one of those authors, or either Karen Travis won't talk, so maybe Troy Denning. Maybe if I talked to him, maybe he would reveal that. But he seems pretty. The last time I talked to him, and I talked to him about that, I asked him that question. He said, "No, we're not going to reveal that because we don't want fans coming after." But that was years ago. Maybe now they would. But a lot of people, I know there's a lot of fan outrage from Chewbacca's. Well, Chewbacca's death may have been bigger now that I think about it. But it was definitely bigger than Anakin's death. People are going to disagree with me on that. That's because you love Anakin Solo, and that's fine. But on the forums, it was just lit up, and people were ablaze in anger. I mean, the dark side was strong on the forums for months after that book came out. And yeah, to be honest, I do feel bad for Timothy Zahn that he did not know until the last minute. But to their credit, they do admit it was a mistake not telling him till late. However, this death, like every other death in the expanded universe, makes perfect sense to me. I agree with this idea, and this is the only way to take Luke out of the story that makes sense. So again, I say amen to this decision. Even though I did not want Mara Jade Skywalker to die, I was shocked just like the rest of you. I was like, whoa, because we had seen New Jedi Order was so dark. We were expecting characters to die every book. Well, Legacy of the Force was showing us that, well, if characters die, they're going to be small ones or ones that were just made into the new to the novel, and so you're not going to see that many deaths. And so the whole time we're thinking, okay, it's going to be going back to normal. You know, the books are going to be safe. Then Mara Jade, I mean, they go for the queen of the expanded universe, and you're like, whoo, I didn't see that one coming. And of course, I love being surprised, and just like Michael Stackpole said, if you want to feel safe, go read a Star Trek novel. All right, folks, I'll end it on that quote, because I love that quote. I wish I could quote that in the end of all of my videos. See you next time with another video.